TransRoad USA tips. These are my tips for the video game TransRoad USA. First of all, different truck dealers have different pricing, and you should be able to find trucks for 54,000. There's not going to be a lot, so you could, for example, buy out all the trucks at the dealer, and the next time you come back, you have to pay a higher price. The cheapest drivers are around 350 per week. You'll have no problem finding them. Sometimes I did have to pay 500 or 600 per week. You shouldn't have to pay 1,000 per week. There are benefits. For example, if you're going to be towing a lot of different types of goods, you're going to need all the licenses. You're going to have to pay more for a driver. Some of the special contracts have high values. For example, I had a NASA contract. It was worth like 360,000. Once you accept the contract, you have to zoom the map out to find the icon to start the contract. So be careful. Make sure you check everything, because I didn't have the proper concession, it's called, and I never figured out how to do a concession. So I was unable to complete the contract. But it had something to do with hauling food. Weekly contracts allow you to manage larger fleets with less hassle. So what I did was I did a lot of the weekly contracts, and I would put 3 or 4 trucks for each schedule, and it brings money in. It brought money in, and I was starting to grow very slowly, and it wasn't a lot of hassle, because you don't want to have to keep on redoing your contracts over and over again. The small contracts are for the start of the game. I recommend shorter trips to neighboring cities when starting the game. You don't want to do long distance contracts. You're going to have problems with the long distance contracts, because remember, you might have to do one trip, and one trip might take you 2 or 3 days to finish it. So do the shortest contracts you can find, and remember, check from here, and then you do the return contract that returns to here. You want to do both. Avoid hauling special cargo at the start of the game. You will have trouble finding contracts. Start out using the basic trailers. I tried to do some of the special cargo, and it was hard to find the contracts. I mean, hard meaning I couldn't do anything. So you don't want to do that. Just start out with the regular trailer and the regular contracts. The dry van and the reefer do not require special licenses. The other trailers do. There will be many features that are necessary to play the game that will not be explained. You're going to have to refer to the online help. You're going to have to go to Google and frequently search, how do I do this? How do I do that? I can't believe how much time I spent looking for a button I had to click on to do something basic, like just to add a driver to a vehicle. Had no idea how to do it. Or another example is, I didn't know you had to buy the trailer. Or I had the vehicle in one depot and the trailer went to another depot. It's a lot of things are very confusing. You're going to learn the hard way. It's a little bit stressful starting out the game. If you're doing a weekly contract and you have extra trucks, one thing you can do is you can change that contract for another contract that brings in more profit. So if you're doing your weekly contract, cancel it at some point. They start out at, like, let's say 25,000. Find one that's 45,000, then find one that's 60,000, and bump those vehicles up into higher contracts. Eventually, you're going to have extra vehicles. Instead of doing a new contract with another schedule, upgrade your existing contracts to bring in more money per week. If you like this game, I also recommend Transocean 2 Rivals. I think it's a better game. Okay, so those are my tips for TransRoad USA. I'm going to tell you, I don't really like this game very much. You probably already bought it. If you have questions, post them below, and I will try to answer whatever I can. Don't forget to go to my forum, which is cheapbooks.cc, and look for the video game section and look for TransRoad USA, which might be under Transportation Management Games.